Rain killed humans faster than predators did. Hypothermia stopped hearts within mere minutes. Wet clothes accelerated deadly heat loss rapidly. 10 degrees plus wind equals fatal exposure. They learned survival by watching others die. Maintaining core temperature was first priority always. Dead fire meant certain death in rain. Wet wood refused to ignite ever. Carrying live embers became essential survival skill. Slow-burning materials transported fire safe. Body shielding kept flames alive constantly. Communal fires provided collective warmth overnight. Firekeepers maintained flames through storms. Hearths burned continuously for thousands of years. Protected pits allowed fire survival outdoors. Caves were rare and often occupied. Built shelters offered better protection usually. Overlapping leaves created effective waterproof barriers. Angled branches directed rainwater away efficiently. Bone frames anchored structures against wind. Stretched hides formed durable, waterproof roofs. Fat-treated hides repelled water naturally. Smoking process preserved leather durability long-term. Leather making required days of preparation. Finished leather kept bodies dry effectively. Rain pressure drove cognitive evolution forward. Smell of rain warned of storms. Low-flying birds signaled approaching pressure. Insect swarms indicated humidity changes accurately. Cloud reading predicted weather hours ahead. High ground prevented flooding during downpours. South slopes dried faster after rain. Tree canopies intercepted significant rainfall amounts. Rock overhangs saved construction time significantly. Good spots were used repeatedly forever. Cold shock response caused immediate drowning. Regular exposure reduced cold shock sensitivity. Brown fat generated heat directly internally. Hiker metabolism compensated for heat loss. Populations adapted metabolically to wet cold. Group huddling conserved collective body heat.
Sleeping rotations shared cold exposure fairly. Labor division optimized bad weather survival. Children protected centrally during storms always. Knowledge transmission ensured survival continuity. Elder death meant knowledge loss permanently. Caring elders preserved institutional memory safely. Food caches bridged seasonal availability gaps. Elevated storage prevented food rotting quickly. Rain brought earthworms as protein source. Flooding concentrated fish for easy hunting. Wet conditions triggered mushroom growth prolifically. Snails became accessible rainy season food. Equitable sharing maintained group resilience collectively. Hoarding weakened entire group survival chances. Humans migrated toward productive wet environments. Wet environments supported abundant food sources. Rain fed rivers with aquatic resources. Moisture enabled diverse plant growth everywhere. Abundance justified survival difficulty calculation always. Solitary survival was mostly modern fiction. Social bonds functioned as survival infrastructure. Skills were taught, not reinvented each. Oral traditions preserved accumulated environmental knowledge. Specific barks carried embers for hours. Hide tools dated back 100,000. Planning required abstract thinking capabilities early. Rain pressure made humans smarter faster. Technology replaced innate weather awareness skills. Indigenous expertise seemed supernatural to outsiders. Expertise emerged from lethal selection pressure. Elevation choice determined dryness of camp. Cold air pooled dangerously in valleys. Slight rises prevented waking up soaked. Terrain knowledge equaled plumbing expertise practically. Wrong spots had immediate severe consequences. Broadleaf trees intercepted moderate rainfall entirely. Conifers provided consistent shelter from rain. Overhangs were universal shelter solutions globally. Natural shelters saved hours construction time. Groups returned to proven shelter spots. Repeated habitation proved location quality enduringly. Ancestors told successors where shelter was. Landscape knowledge was rain survival itself. Bodies possessed physiological advantages we lost. Cold shock caused many drowning deaths. Sensitivity decreased with regular cold exposure. Baselines differed due to environment training. Training, not genetics, created toughness primarily. Environment offered no escape from cold. Fat distribution aided heat generation significantly. Hunter-gatherers had higher metabolic rates. Brown fat generated heat not stored. Adaptations were genetic and physiological. Inuit adaptations documented extensively by science. Any human adapts to cold regularly. Bodies responded to environmental demands automatically. Shapes formed over lifetimes and generations. Preparation, not superiority, enabled survival success. Social structures managed environmental threats collectively. Shared heat was real survival mechanism. Groups retained heat better than individuals. Outer positions bore brunt of cold. Sleeping was communal, dense, dense and pragmatic. Privacy was luxury of warm weather. Proximity provided comfort without hesitation. Labor distribution optimized for bad weather. Youth maintained fires and gathered fuel. Elders decided movement and shelter placement. Children stayed central, warm and protected. Groups functioned as thermoregulation systems. Society was biological survival machinery. Lone survivor image was mostly fiction. Solo survival worked only short-term. Long seasons demanded group cooperation necessarily. Social bonds were survival infrastructure. Knowledge transmission ensured species continuity. Techniques were taught, not discovered anew. Waterproofing methods passed down generations. Weather reading skills taught to young. Material knowledge accumulated over centuries. Knowledge was most valuable group asset. Elder death was survival crisis event. Lost knowledge could not be replaced. Care was rational preservation strategy. Not altruism, but survival logic. Rain did not pause hunger needs. Foraging created specific wet weather problems. Animals sheltered, becoming harder tracked. Plants became waterlogged and inaccessible. Cooking fires difficult maintain when wet. Cold increased caloric demand significantly. Strategic storage appeared deep prehistory. Nuts cached in cool, dry places. Foresight recognized coming seasonal changes. Preparation bridged gaps. Not hope did. Targets shifted opportunistically to rain. Rain actually produced specific foods. Earthworms surfaced in huge numbers. Fish moved predictably during flooding. Mushrooms fruited prolifically in wet. Snails, insects, frogs became accessible. Attention paid always to environment. Menus changed dynamically with weather. Flexibility was essential survival trait. Groups ate together, shared equitably. Hoarding reduced collective group resilience. Fed individual in starving group died. They were casualties waiting happen. Sharing norms existed in all societies. Cooperation sustained groups through lean.
Seasons were survived, prepared, and adapted. Living locations revealed relationship reign. Moderns prefer moderate climates generally. Ancients went everywhere without luxury. They entered monsoon-soaked regions, lived in perpetually wet rainforests, settled violent seasonal flood deltas, inhabited subarctic relentless precipitation zones, went because of what rain brought. Wet environments were productive environments. Rains filled rivers with fish. Forests teemed with moisture-dependent life. Difficulty was worth the abundance. Relationship with weather was different. Rain was condition requiring management. Built civilization of survival techniques. Intelligence was sophisticated and calibrated. Foundation upon which all built. Refused to simply give up, got rained on. Waterproofed hides were technological marvels. Carried embers kept fire alive. Angled branches shed water effectively. Groups huddled around protected fires. Structures built before storms arrived. Sky reading predicted weather changes. South slopes were chosen for drying. Food was cached weeks before it was needed. All pointed to the same conclusion. Ancients didn't just survive the rain. They built a civilization of techniques, sophisticated and finely calibrated system. We have Gore-Tex and heating. We have weather radar and drainage systems. All of it was built because someone figured it out. During very long, very wet nights, that water naturally runs downhill. That smoke keeps shelter interiors dry. That animal fats make leather waterproof. That staying close to warm humans saves lives. It made the difference between life and death. Every rain technology we use today is downstream of those discoveries. They figured it out first without any modern tools. Using nothing but time and attention, knowledge accumulated over generations. Through a stubborn refusal to give up. They refused to simply give up and get rained on. That is not primitive survival. It's the foundation of all human progress.